Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Addict, where sports it's all that matters. The NBA trade deadline is in the books now for this season. The most talk about trade in the NBA was the Luka to the Lakers trade, but there were a lot of other trades, you know, in this trade deadline. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about each trade and stuff, and you know see which teams are winners and which teams are going to be the losers of each trade. So the only trade I won't talk about it's the Luka to the Lakers because I already made a video specifically talking about that trade. But the rest of the teams, did a lot of NBA teams did a lot of moves. So I'll start with the ones that did. Let's see what it says. Atlanta Hawks got a B minus after their trade. Key addition were Levert, Niag, Mann, and Highland. Key losses, Bonanovich and DeAndre Hunter. And this is what it says. After years of so play, Hunter finally figured it out. Playing in arguably the best ball of his career this season and only to get dealt at the trade deadline, it says. Let me see what else it says. Sure, he had a rough January, hitting 39 of his shots. But come on, something clear clip for him this season. They said instead of hanging on to him, or at least waiting to shop him in the summer, the Hawks decided now was apparently the time to pivot off him. It's a gamble for the Hawks to have no control of their own first round pick this year or the following two. They did make up for it by sending a Clipper veteran shooter Bogdanovich, who looked out of all sorts all year and secured two first-round swaps in 2026. 2020 from Cleveland as well as numerous seconds. Still, the Hunter lost things and the line direction looked both confusing and unclear. With that being said, I feel like Hawks probably are the losers in this, and the other team should be the winners because after reading all this, you heard everything that supposedly is messed up with this trade, so it's basically a loss for the Hawks. That's why they gotta be mine is 'cause it's like it can go either way. I feel like for me it's a loss. You know, everything is that I read. I feel for me it's a loss, but time will tell if it was really a loss for the Hawks or they take the L or they take the W. Then we have the Celtics. The Celtics made cost-cutting trade, shipping on Jaden Springer and saving themselves on the tax bill. Fans shouldn't care about their favorite team saving money, however, and since the Celtics gave up 2 second round for one, which was the cost of getting off the contract, they're definitely worse off long term. So I mean, with this one, I mean, if it's gonna affect long term, then I'll say the Celtics took an L there. Charlotte Hornets, they said they got a B plus, key additions, and the Celtics we were skipped them when they got an A plus, but that long the worst of long term is makes me give them an L. I feel like for this one, Charlie Hornet, Nurkic, and Mitch, Mark Williams, Cody Martin. The Corny shuffle around some pieces and picked up multiple picks in the process. Mitch could be a long-term play for them, but Nurkic was a clear salary dump on behalf of Phoenix. It's unlikely Charlie would devote its future on him. Overall, the Hornets answered the market and squeezed when they needed to. That's solid business. With that being said, I'll give them the win. They're winners. I feel like Hornets, but they're winner and loser because the Mark Williams trade was canceled. due to failing. Mark Williams failed. The Lakers failed his physical exam. Then the Bulls said F. I feel like Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and Kevin Herter key lost Zach Levine. I feel like this one was a bad move for like the Bulls because Levine is their star player, and stuff. I feel like the Spurs and Kings are the winners in this trade, but the Bulls are the sore loser. I'll say. This is what I said. That's why I'm saying this. After getting fleeted by the Spurs and Kings in the three-team DeAndre Fox, Zach Levine trade, the Bulls had to do something Thursday to prove their situation. Instead, they did nothing, which worsened their D grade from the Lavine deal a few days ago. They didn't ship on Nicole Wurch or Lonzo Ball, instead extended Ball and allowed Cody White to stick around when his value is clearly about to heavily diminish due to his contract situation. The book continued to air awful and trend. I'm simply not understand what type of business they're in. So like I said, that's why I see the Spurs and Kings, I feel like ended up winning this trade. Then the Cleveland had an A plus supposedly. Key addition DeAndre Hunter, Carter Lavie, Georges Nanin. The Cavs, and as they should, acted as buyers and got an allegedly and officially plus 6 foot 8 wing will help strengthen their chances against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. They paid up for it, forking over 2 first round swaps in several seconds, but that's the cost of doing business for a contender. It's very well could be worth it. I mean, if you're a contender and if this trade's gonna improve your team, I feel like you're a winner. If it's gonna help you, you know, you're already a contender, but it's gonna make you be more of a contender, a stronger contender for the championship. I'll say that's a win in every scenario. The Mavericks got a C. We all know why, because you do not trade your best, you know, player all of a sudden. Let's go to the Pistons. Dennis Schroeder. He losses, they got none. So I feel like that's a win. When you don't lose key players, but you add additional help. The Pistons use their cap space to absorb deals, gain a few extra picks, and ultimately land on Dennis Schroeder as an addition of the rest of the year, strengthening the point guard spot. I mean, that's a win. Like if you gain extra picks without losing anyone, you land a good player like Schroeder, defensive player like Schroeder, it looks well. That's just rock solid. They know how to leverage their own situation to improve their long-term outlook. Strong job by the Detroit. I'll say it is a strong job because I feel like the Pistons are winners in this trade deadline because they got extra picks. They landed, someone to strengthen their point guard spot, and they didn't lose. They didn't lose key loss. They don't have key losses, so I feel like it's a win for the Pistons. And then we have the Warriors, Jimmy Butler, but they lost Dennis Schroeder, Clay Anderson. The you know the Warriors put up signing Butler to an intention of 111 million over 2 years, prolonging the team's competitive for a few years. Butler age aligns well with the timeline of both Steph Curry and Draymond Green. So this could in many ways be viewed as a responsible way to send off Curry while keeping the team relevant. Could be, I feel like it's a win. I feel like because they want to keep themselves, relevant. So I feel like good move, but I don't know if it's gonna be for the long run. But it's gonna be for a short run. I feel like. Houston Rockets got an A. The Rockets took on the contract James Spring, who then they later waived and earned a second round for their trouble. Small piece of business but solid execution. I feel it's a win for the Rockets. They got a second round pick. They got something out of a waiver. The Pacers moved James Winston by sending him to Toronto along with cash. This frees up much needed roster spot, which the Pacers can use on a healthy play. Winston is out for the year due to Achilles tear. I feel like that's a win for the Pacers. Getting rid of a player that's not gonna really be there, and you freed up a roster spot, to fix whatever area you need to fix. So I'll give them. Then we have the Clippers. Key addition, Bogdanovich. Key loss in Terrence Mann, Bonus, Highland, and PJ Tucker. The Clippers shuffle around some pieces, moving off older player and while getting a new older player. I don't see the point there. I feel like the Clipper with that is a loss because you move from older player, but you sign another older player. So what's the point of moving pieces since they were old players and you still bring another old player? Like doesn't make sense. They're going to say, but Ganovich is revitalized in California as the Serbian shooting does offer a dynamic offense against the team is otherwise lacking, but one could wonder what definitely wasn't given to Bone Hayland. I mean, like I feel like this is a loss for the Clippers because you trade move some players because they're getting older, and you get another older player, so it makes no sense. Then the Memphis Grizzlies, but it's fluid. It says Marvin Bagley, Johnny Davis. Key losses Marcus Smart. I feel like this should be a loss. Marcus Smart's a good defender. To look up, but it's certainly a fluid one. Here's why Memphis gave up first round equality to salary dump Marcus Smart, which on the surface seems unwise exactly. Yet the move could clear a way for the Grizzlies to potentially renegotiate the contract of Jaren Jackson during this year, which is intrigue to the future team. If they succeed, the end of the world. That's worth the second round draft pick. I mean, if they can sign Jaren Jackson back, but if not, I feel like they'll take the loss. At first, I was like, I'll give the Grizzlies a loss in this trade, but after saying that they did this to sign a future asset like Jaren Jackson Jr. But if they fail, I feel like this trade flops, and then they're the sore losers in this trade. But if they do sign Jaren Jackson, like I said, it'll be worth the sacrifice. In the Miami Heat, got Wiggins, Anderson, and Mitchell. Miami Nappers is finally moved on from Jabra, who didn't want to be there. I feel like that's a win because you got rid of a toxic situation. A player cause making a toxic environment. You know what I mean? So it can really damage a team when there's a toxic environment. So getting rid of Butler, I say it's a win. It was a modest return, but a return that still fetched that he as a starting Wiggins, even in first round selection, that he cannot firmly devote their attention to the rest of the team with unnecessary. Now that's a win, seriously. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's a win because they don't have to deal with Jimmy Butler antics, his drama, that toxic can make a situation, an environment toxic, and that's never good for a team. Bucks, Kyle Kuzma, and Kevin Porter. Key loss, Chris Middleton. I'll give this a loss clearly because Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr. trading for Middleton. I mean, this is a bad trade in my opinion. The Bucks shot up their core, and we still have no idea if it's for the better or the worse. See, look, for me, it's a loss here. Kuzma potentially more explosive and durable, but he's also inconsistent in both offensively and in effort at all. Two elements you never had to worry about with Middleton. See, like this is for me, this is a bad trade. The potential scoring boost from Porter could be in the card, but that remains to be seen. So I feel like it's a loss because Chris Middleton, you know what, with Chris, you know what you expected, but with Kuzma, you have explosive. Doesn't get injured a lot, but he's inconsistent. And then you still have to wait to see Porter, if Kevin Porter Jr. can be that, can be on a potential scoring boost, but they still have to wait and see. So I feel like this is a loss. Then New Orleans Pelicans got Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and Keylor Brandon Ingram. It's time to move on from England. The Pelicans finally made the call on his future by dealing him to Toronto. They got a decent return acquiring drafted quality, equally for a player who could have just left for nothing this summer. Of course, they did take a hit talent-wise, but with Aaron Murray out for the year, this could be the beginning of a long, trenchy road of rebuilding. Here's hoping. I mean, if it's a rebuild, like if they're trying to rebuild something, I feel like it's always a win because you're trying to make your team better, even you have to start from scratch. Then you have the Knicks. The Knicks made a small song and limiting Jericho Sims and getting back Dylan Wright. It's already meshed in one move the needle at all for the Knicks. I mean, like if you're returning, if you're getting a player back, I mean, what's the point of trading, of getting rid of him at the first place and then returning him back? I feel like it doesn't make sense, so I'll give the Knicks a loss there. Oklahoma City Thunder, as usual, the Thunder played it smart. It took on the contract of the Pels Daniel Thesis, which they later went and took on the second round to do so. They are also near the return of Chet Holmgren from injury. I mean, with that being said, I feel like the Thunder is a winner here in the trade deadline. Sixers, Quentin Grimes, Kyle Martin. The Sixers got Grimes and ended up forking over a first for two-way player Jared Butler and for a second. Grimes generally assists when the Sixers can resign this summer. He's a plug-and-play wing who fits on every system, which is a bad starting point for the Sixers. They head into what will be a big summer. I mean, if it's gonna improve something for the Sixers, I feel like it's a win, like I said. Then the Sun fork over first they come Cody Martin, Minsky, and Jared Nurkic got traded. The Sun fork over first to raise on Nurkic, which is a rough price to pay for a team that's trying to put together a functioning roster. If Cody Martin wasn't prone to pick up injuries, this would have looked a lot better. Nick Richard will be asked to do a lot of work for the remainder of the season, so I feel like it's a loss for the Suns. Getting a player that's prone to pick up injuries. I don't see no point trading. Then we have the Kings, which I feel like the Kings probably won because they got Zach Levine, a star player. The King went to say Revelant. We can discuss the strategy until we're blue in the face. But for a team that is staying the course is tough to argue against. Levine's a genius. Genius gaps it. But Collins both solve issues the Kings have, even if the team will have to spend years finding a point guard as good as Fox again. The Kings also gets a small flurry of draft picks in the Fox trade, which certainly helps. The Kings are a bit of a weird spot these days, but not necessarily in an awful position. I mean, if they can draft well, I know it's going to be hard replacing, Darren Fox, but they have a star player in Zach Levine. I know they're not going to have a point guard like Fox again, maybe, but if they can draft wisely, they probably can find a gem somewhere in those draft picks that can replace Fox. It can go either way. It's for me, it's a win here because they got draft picks, they got a star player like Zach Levine. I know they're gonna probably not find a good point guard again like Fox, but if in all those draft picks that they got for the Fox trade, I feel like if they draft wisely, this can be a win for the Kings. But if not, I feel like if they mess up on they don't draft well, then I feel like it's a loss for the Kings. The Spurs got Darren Fox. They lose Zach Collins, Trey Jones. The Spurs haven't managed to acquire Fox without replenishing Stephen Castle or the 25 first round pick they own from the Hawks. They shouldn't be possible. That shouldn't be possible. Yet the Spurs haven't pulled it off. Meaning Fox is not in a must success situation where the Spurs can offer to pull really if he doesn't work for Fox. The blue doesn't indicate it won't work or out. However, just on a start piece of work by the Spurs, I feel like the Spurs needed like someone like a star player to help their young core, especially they already have a star in Wembayama, but signing another star like Darren Fox, a veteran player like Darren Fox. Then the Raptors, got Brandon Ingram, they trade Bruce Brown, Kelly, Olynyk. The Raptor were searching for a talent injection and they got it. Unfortunately, the fit is extremely wonky, and Ingram can leave this summer as an unrestricted free agent. I mean, most of the trade, that's how it is. You trade for a player, but during the summer they can leave and stuff. The fact that Trent thought the Pioneer half-year rental was for a first-round pick seemed optimistic, but in the event that Ingram does resign in the summer or is signed and traded for something more useful, the price suddenly becomes far more acceptable. I mean, if they're gonna do something like that, if they don't sign Ingram but they trade him and they get something out of for Ingram, I feel like it's a win there. The Jets didn't explode and still ended up with KG Martin, who's useful forward for that purpose. They also somehow walked away with 5 second round selection, but constantly being involved in major trade as a smaller participation. That rock solid. I feel like that's a win, you know? They made, they had 5 second round selection by just being involved in different trades. I feel like that's a win in my opinion. Then the Wizards. Let's talk about the Wizards. The Wizards getting drafted quality something they needed while forking over Slavistan and constantly getting some back. It makes sense in the context of it all, but the Wizards played this smart by starting ready. When teams wanted to send out old talent that them no longer use, which was a productive deadline for them, even if they're now a bit too full of post age 30 player, but that's a problem for the summer. I mean, somehow it's a win. I feel like obviously the Wizards are a mess. They need to feel like really rebuild this team. So I'll say it's a win. Getting right up, even though they have almost of their player are age 30, doesn't for me it doesn't matter because they're a mess. They need to rebuild somehow. So those are the trades that happen towards, during the deadline, the NBA deadline that finished February 6th, 2025. I read what the article said about each trade. I gave my personal opinion if it was a win, if it was a win, if the team that traded was a winner or a loser. And the NBA landscape completely changed for some team. I mean, this is my opinion. I feel like some of the trades are winners. The Laker trades are winner. In the long run, I feel like Mavericks are a winner, but for the short run and stuff, there's a lot of trades. And some are gonna be, right now we don't know what to expect. I mean, some of these trades are probably gonna make the team that traded for that player is gonna be a lot worse, or they're gonna be a lot better. Rebuild or thinking about the future. But anyway, what trade what trades do you think will be most successful and which trades you think are gonna flop? Leave your guys' comments down below. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Until next time.